Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to your Monday English lesson. Let's cast our minds back to last week and think about what we learned. We looked at a very famous person. Can you remember his name? He was a very famous playwright. Lived a few hundred years ago. His name was William Shakespeare. That is correct. And towards the end of the week, you read and looked at a video clip of a poem that was used in one of his plays. Can anyone remember the name of the play it was used in? It began with the letter M. Macbeth, that's right. And it was the witch's poem, wasn't it? Now, this week we're going to change it a little bit, but we are going to use that poem as an idea for ourselves. So today, we are going to generate our own ideas for our own version of a poem. And to be successful, we are going to try and use a bit of rhyme. We're going to try and use a bit of repetition, maybe some alliteration, the use of adjectives and expanded noun phrases. So last week we looked at the poem from Macbeth Before the Witches by Shakespeare. Today it's going to be our turn to get our own ideas for our very own poem. Okay. Before we look at that, let's look at our Mr. Words for this week. So there's 3 there. Have a look at them. Try and say them out loud if you can. If you're not sure, use some of our reading strategies to help decode these words. Right, let's look at the first one. Our first word is potion. But what does that mean? Any ideas? Well, a potion is a liquid with healing, magical or poisonous properties. Wow. We've got ingredients, so any items that are all put together to make something. Okay, put lots of little bits and pieces together to make one big thing, like lots of little parts to make a whole. And our last one is a strange one, this one, cauldron. You might see different spellings of this one. A cauldron is a large metal pot and kettle for cooking or boiling over an open fire. So you might put your ingredients into your potion in a cauldron. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video and I'd like you to write a sentence with the word potion in, another sentence with the word ingredients in, and another sentence with the word cauldron in. So leave a comment in Dojo with 3 sentences using those words. Okay, pause video, I'll see you in a moment. Welcome back. Now before we carry on, got a little clip of my great uncle, who's a bit of a witch himself. And he's going to just remind us a bit of the poem from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Have a little listen. And as you're listening, think about what it is that goes into the pot. Okay, listen.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, fillet of a fenny snake in the cauldron, boil and bake, eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble, double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Strange, wasn't it? Right, let's have a little look at a different version now. Okay, so have a look at this one. It says, fillet of a blind worm's sting, in the cauldron boil and wring, a heart of a suffocated cat, and the liver of a murdered rat, ears of a murdered dog, and a brain of a strangled frog, lizard's leg and wizard's hand, bat's wing and bleeding rat's leg. Does it make sense? Doesn't quite flow as well as the other one, does it? I'd quite like mine to be set out a little bit differently. Well, don't need to worry about that too much about that today, but let's have a little look. Can we find any adjectives? Fillet of a blind worm sting. I guess blind, isn't it? Blind worm sting. In the cauldron, boil and wring. A heart of a suffocated cat. Okay, a suffocated cat. And the liver of a murdered rat. Ears of a murdered dog. Oh look, we've got some repetition there, haven't we? And a brain of a strangled frog. Ooh. Lizard's leg and wizard's hand, bat's wing and bleeding rat's leg. So we've got some adjectives. What about words that rhyme? Let's have a little look. Fillet of a blind worm's sting. What word rhymes with sting? In the cauldron, boil and wring. So we've got sting and ring rhyme. Can you find any more words that rhyme? I'll give you a few moments to look at it. Any more words that rhyme? A heart of a suffocated cat and the liver of a murdered rat. Any rhyming words there? Yes. Cat and rat. Ears of a murdered dog and a brain of a strangled frog. Okay. You might have lizard and wizard. Lizard and wizard. Okay, we've got some rhyming words there. So it's slightly different than Macbeth's, isn't it? We've got some different things there. But between Macbeth's version and that one you just read, what items went into the witch's cauldron? What went in there, do you think? Let's have a think about what went into the cauldron. So in blue we've got some of the items that were put in on recent version, and in black are the ones from Macbeth's. We had heart of a suffocated cat, ear of a dog, brain of a strangled frog, liver of a murdered rat, owlet's wing, wool of bat, toe of frog, and a fillet of a fenny snake. So some of the items that went in, all sounding a little bit grotesque and disgusting. Alright, so what else could we put into our potion? Let's have a little look, shall we? We've got a disgusting pie, a mummified elephant eye. What do you notice about those two words? That's right, they rhyme, don't they? So I've got a couple of rhyming ideas already. Pig's feet. Pig's muddy feet. I've got an adjective there, haven't I? A very crispy dog ear. Ugh. A dead frog. Smell of walrus. Or you could put walrus smell. Change it around. Goblin's hair. Or hair of goblin. Horse's lung. Bull's horn. Mammoth brain. We've got lots of animals here, haven't we? And parts of animals that are a bit disgusting and grotesque we can add to our potion. Let's carry on. What other objects could a witch put into their cauldron? Well, let's have a little look behind box 1. We've got a dog, but there's an arrow pointing to its tail. So it might be a pointy dog's tail, or the point of a dog's tail. It might have to be a certain colour. It might have to be a black dog's tail, or a brown dog's tail, or maybe a Dalmatian tail, a specific type of dog, an Alsatian's tail. Behind our next box, or a frog. It could be the croak of a frog. It might be the tongue of a frog, or maybe a frog's webbed foot. The slime of a snail. We've got some alliteration there, haven't we? Slime of a snail. Maybe a snail shell. Ooh, a snake. Maybe the rattle from a rattlesnake, or a poison from a deadly viper. The tooth of a mamba. So again, don't just say snake. Maybe have a particular species of snake that you can talk about and use, rather than just say snake or dog. You can be particular, be specific. Or it could be a spider's web, or web of spider. It might be the venom or poison of something. Okay. Or the eyelash. It looks like an eye here. There's an arrow just there pointing to an eyelash. It might be an eyelash of an animal. I'm not sure if rats have eyelashes, but they're quite horrible animals, aren't they? Rats sometimes got a bit of a bad name for themselves. The eyelash of a dead black rat. And there's some words in the file attached to Class Dojo that might be useful for you to use as well. Vile, revolting, decaying. What's called, is it? The decaying tooth of a dog. Ugh. The slime from a snail. Mouldy, scream, stagnant, putrid smell. So some really good words there that you could try and use and get onto your plan, your poem plan there. So what we would like you to do is you're going to generate your own ideas for your own version of this poem, and your task is to draw a cauldron in the middle of your page, and around the cauldron have all the ideas, things, your ingredients you're going to put into your potion. So don't make your cauldron too big. Yeah, do your cauldron like this, and remember our success criteria. You might want to try and get some rhyming words in. So we had, let's go back a few couple of slides. What did we have here? Mummified elephant's eye, goblin's hair. Okay. Now snake's quite a good one. So venom of a viper snake. Because boil and bake. Bake rhymes with snake, doesn't it? So I might put that down there. Boil and bake. Bake rhymes with snake. Okay, another idea. Decaying tooth of a black rat. Okay, decaying tooth of a black rat. We might have the bark of a puppy. You might have the stench of a rotten egg. Ugh. You could have, let's have a look, some more of our ideas. The eyelash, snail shell, let's get some alliteration in there. The crunch, whoops a daisy, of a squashed snail, shell. But you get the idea. Try and get some words that do rhyme. That might help you a bit later on. Okay, think about some words that rhyme. Once you've got some ideas down, have a look at your last words and think of any others words you can think of that might rhyme. Now, puppy might be quite a hard one to rhyme with, so what you might want to do is change the order of your words around. So rather than bark of a puppy bark, because you might be able to find more words that rhyme with bark than you can with puppy. So swap them around, okay? That might help you a little bit. As well as that, think about some repetition. What's going to happen to some of these things? Are they going to be strangled? A strangled cat and a strangled rat. Get some repetition in there. It might be a murdered dog or drowned rat. Murdered. Okay, so think about some words that you might begin to use and repeat for your poem. Okay, boil and bake, hubble, bubble, those kind of words. So add those ideas to your plan, and it can help you write your poem later on in the week. I hope you have lots of fun with this. Take care, and I look forward to seeing them all on Class Dojo. Okay, bye bye.